Game Day, brought to you by Raga Incorporated.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of High School Game Day. I'm joined by myself, Reese Davis.
Pat McAfee.
Big Kirko.
Lee Corso.
Nick Saban.
Coach Rainey.
And now, before we get into our segment for our Game Day picks, I want to send it over to Pat McAfee, who interviewed Aiden and Tyler.
Hello, I'm Pat McAfee, joined with
Tyler Henry, senior.
Aiden Ellis, senior.
And what is the game plan for tonight, and how can you carry on the momentum from last week after being a rival?
Definitely focusing a lot more. This team's a pretty good team. Our defense has got to be together. We got to play all 4 quarters physical football, and we'll definitely have to keep the ball off the ground on offense. So.
Just not letting up, just keeping our nose on the grindstone and just keep going, man. It's about us. You know what I mean? I feel like, we need to play, to North Murray's ball, not to down anybody. You know what I mean? So I think we need to do that and just stay focused and go win the Ranger Championship. So.
How has practice been this week preparing for Union County?
Practice has been great this week. I think we've had a lot of energy all week, had a lot of focus. We practiced really well, and I think it'll carry over to this game.
Very physical. I think we've had a great week of practice, and that we've been popping pads and being physical. Because they're a very good team, and one thing about them is they're very physical too. And they're tough. So we've had a good week of practice. Very tough, very physical. So I think we're ready.
And where are y'all at mentally for this game tonight?
Mentally, we want to win. We want to win a region championship, so this is a step closer. So whatever we got to do to handle business, and tonight we're going to handle business, so let's do it.
Mentally, we're just our mission is to win the region championship and eventually state championship. So there's just another one in the way, So.
Thank you for your time, boys, and go Nears.
Okay, so now before our Game Day picks, we want to ask Coach Rainey some questions first.
So, Coach Rainey, you're one of the longest-lasting coaches here. That's coached all these North Murray teams. Out of all the teams you coach, how's this team different from the rest?
Well, this team is definitely very hard-working. I think that the way that we play offensively is a lot different than some of the teams we've had in the past. High-flying, throwing the ball and stuff. We've kind of been a pound-it team, and we're doing a good job with running the ball, but we can throw it too. So hopefully we can get that part going here pretty soon too.
Okay. So obviously this year, some new looks on offense. Lost your quarterback, but now Hudson Hewlett has been moved to quarterback. How's that change been different, and how are you feel like the team is adjusting to this new look?
Well, I feel like our team is very close, and they play for each other. I feel like Hudson, is tough as nails, and we ask him to carry the ball a lot. And, he's right now, I think he is the top rusher in the state in 2A, and he's number 5 overall in the state with over 700 yards rushing in just 4 games. So, we ask him to do a lot. So him staying healthy and being tough has been a real key to that. But also the guys all rally around him too. He's a great leader for us.
So before we get into our main picks for this game day, we're going to do our upset picks for this week. My upset pick is going to be Dalton over Allatoona. I think Dalton's going to get their first win, so that's going to be my upset pick.
I have Gilmer beating Northwest. Last time we met was in 2019 when Northwest won 6-0, but I think Gilmer will win this time.
I agree with you, Pat. I think Gilmer's going to go in the Northwest and just beat them.
I'm agreeing with Reese on this one. Give me Dalton over Altoona.
Yeah, my pick this week's going to be a little bit of a weird one. I'm going with Towns County over Butler. Butler's in Augusta. Towns is in the Hiwassee area. When you drive 3 hours and then you go play a football game, it's a little rough. Butler's favored by 6, and I think it'll be the other way around. Towns has had a good season so far. They're 3-2, and I expect them to go 4-2.
I got a couple of upsets, but I think the one is it's a huge rivalry. LFO and Ringgold. I think LFO is going to upset them. I think they got some giants on defense. I think one of them giants is going to block an extra point, and they're going to win 28-27. Also, I agree with some of you guys on the Gilmer deal. I think Northwest is flying high right now, and they're a good team, but I think Gilmer runs the ball well on them and pulls out the upset.
Okay. All right, and now for our main games this week. Our first game is Rockmart at Cola Creek. Coal Creek is 0-4 and Rockmart's 1-2. Not much discussion here. I think Coal Creek's not going to get their first win in the win column. I think Rockmart's going to win pretty handily.
Rockmart by 60.
Coal Creek is just a bad football team. They're not going to get a win this week. Rockmart's going to kill them.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Kirk on this one. Coal Creek reminds me a lot of the Indians, so give me Rockmart 63-0.
Yeah, Coal Creek, they're just like Southeast and Murray County. They can't rebuild, or they're trying at least. Give me Rockmart by like 50.
I think Rockmart's got something to prove. I think they're going to score a lot of points this week. Give me Rockmart 56-0.
Now with our next game, we have Sonoraville at Murray. Sonoraville 1-3, and then Murray's 1-4, coming off a loss to North Murray this past week. Murray just not a very good football team. I don't feel like they're disciplined enough. I think Sonoraville's going to pretty much whoop them, so give me Sonoraville.
Murray's still rebuilding for the past 20 years. Give me Sonoraville by at least 20.
Yeah, Sonoraville's going to beat Murray. I don't know much about Sonoraville, but I saw Murray play last week, and it was just a bad sight to see. Give me Sonoraville.
Yeah, I think this matchup will be very similar to the one in 2021 where Sonoraville won 48-7. Give me Sonoraville.
Yeah, don't let Sonoraville's 1-3 record fool you. They've only lost most of their game by 7 points. And some of them you could say they should have won, and they're going to win this one big. Give me Sonoraville.
I might have to agree with you guys. I think last week, very emotional game and, big rivalry game. Murray, kind of, I'd say they put all their eggs in that basket. So I'd say this week maybe a little bit of a letdown. But also Sonoraville gave up the first touchdown that Kahala scored all year last week. So I think the Indians might score 14 points. But give me Sonoraville pretty big in that one.
And now our next game, we have Mount Zion at Southeast Whitfield. Mount Zion's 2-2 and Southeast is 0-5. Not a popular pick, but I'm taking the Raiders on this one because why not?
That's a shocker. Not much to say here. Southeast, of course, is 0-5. Mount Zion 2-2. Give me Mount Zion by at least 30.
Southeast Whitfield is the second worst team in the state. Give me Mount Zion.
Yeah, I don't know much about Mount Zion, but I know Southeast is just sorry, so give me Mount Zion.
Southeast, like Kirk said, they're the second worst team in the state. Mount Zion's had some pretty decent wins. They did lose kind of big to Lowndes this year, but give me Mount Zion.
I know some of them guys over there coaching Southeast, so, shout out to Coach Murray. But I'm going to have to agree with you guys, go with Mount Zion.
And now our next game is LFO at Ringgold. This one's an interesting one. LFO's 1-2 and Ringgold's 3-2. Both these teams are pretty solid. Last meeting was 2023. Ringgold won 34-17. I've went back and forth on this one, but I'm going to stay with the Tigers. I think they're a very solid team, and LFO, all credits to them. I think they've had a good season, and they're an up-and-coming team, but I still think Ringgold's going to win.
Last week Ringgold came with a tough loss against North Cobb in 5 overtimes, Coach Rainey? They'll be banged up, but they're looking for a win. They've lost against two good teams past couple of weeks. Give me Ringgold by a good bit.
I want to disagree with you on that one. I think this is going to be a good game. I saw LFO play at North Murray, and I thought they showed some good things. Ringgold lost their quarterback. That's always a tough thing to battle back from. I think LFO's going to win this game.
Yeah, not so fast, my friend. I just think Ringgold's better. LFO's lost to North Murray. Their chemistry is definitely down from that. So give me Ringgold.
Yeah, these two teams both played some crazy games. Ringgold's coming off 2 overtime losses. LFO's first game of the season ended at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think LFO's got something to prove here, though. They've lost 2 straight games, which is, some could say they should have won and be 5-0 right now. And I think they'll come out here and absolutely dominate.
I think there's a lot of factors to look at in this one, right? LFO coming off a bye week, played us tough. I think Ringgold coming off 2 straight overtime games against 2 very good teams, 2 very physical teams. So, I think LFO always gets up for this one. This is a big rivalry in that town. So they played well in their other rival game, which was Heritage. Come up short in that one, but I think they're going to upset them. It's going to be very close, but I think they're going to upset them.
Okay. And now with our next game, we have Gilmer at Northwest. Gilmer is 2-2, and Northwest with a good start. They're 4-0. I think Northwest just has so much momentum going into this year, and into this game rather. I think they're going to keep that up and go 5-0 against Gilmer.
Like I said, Gilmer's my upset pick of the week. I just think they'll have some good game plan to beat Northwest. Give me Gilmer.
Yeah, Gilmer's my upset pick of the week too. I saw Northwest play against Dalton, and they just didn't show me much to be a 4-0 team. I think the Bobcats are going to go in and beat them.
I also watched that Northwest Dalton game, and Northwest they ran the ball pretty good and they pulled out with a win. So I'm taking Northwest Whitfield.
Yeah, something's telling me I should pick Gilmer here, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go Northwest here. I think they'll go 5-0, and I don't see them losing anytime soon.
Well, I'm going to have to go with Gilmer. They run the option. They run it very, very good. They run it out of a lot of different looks. That's hard to stop. Northwest has a great defense, but I just think this is going to be one of those games that's just going to be a weird start. Could be Northwest could be a second half team. It'll be very close to the end, but I'm going to go with Gilmer.
And now with our second to last game, we have Dalton at Alatoona. Dalton's 0-5 and Alatoona is 2-3. Dalton obviously 0-5, not a start you really see from a Dalton football team in quite some time. Ever. Yeah. They've had a lot of just drama and stuff surrounding their team lately. A coach coming out with a statement, just addressing the team and pretty much the community. I think Dalton Catamounts are going to rally. I think they're going to get their first win of the season. I'm rooting for them. I hope they get their first win. So I think they'll win this game against Alatoona.
Last week Dalton played Carswell, lost 44-13, but they're showing like they're getting a lot better each week. And I don't know much about the Alatoona team, but give me Dalton beating Alatoona.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dalton as well. Putting up 13 points against Cartersville, that's a start.
Win for them.
I don't really know anything about Alatoona or how good they are. I think Dalton Catamounts will get their first win here.
I'm agreeing with Kirk and Reese on this one. I think Dalton will also get the first win.
Yeah, I would love to agree with all of them. It's kind of weird to see Dalton at 0-5. It's not something you see when you think of Dalton. You think of a powerhouse. It's just not what they are this year. I'm going to Alatoona on this one. I think Dalton goes to 0-6, and it's going to be a real shocker. I don't know if they'll win any games this year.
Got friends on both sides of this one. So Coach Brad Smith at Alatoona is the head coach, and they're trying to get that program back to the prominence it once was. Obviously Dalton is not what they've been and ever, but they both a lot of pride in both of these programs. I'm just gonna say that I don't think Dalton's offense is good enough to beat Alatoona at home. So give me Alatoona.
And now with our main game of this week of games, we have North Murray at Union County. North Murray's 3-1 and Union County's 1-3. This is actually their first meeting ever. North Murray, obviously pretty good season for them so far. Showed some great promise to their offense and that run defense they've been going. I think North Murray's going to win this one. Union County, their quarterback is hurt and out, I think, for the season. Is that correct?
Yeah, ACL's going.
So I think it's going to affect Union County some. Obviously, still, played Rockmart decently close with 26-12, I believe. But I think North Murray's just going to win this one.
North Murray's on a roll right now. I think they'll keep it on against Union County. Union County did play Rockmart close, like Ray said, but I got Mountaineers winning.
No quarterback doesn't equal a recipe for a W.
Yeah.
North Murray by 100.
North Murray came out I kind of thought of a slow start last week against Murray. This can't happen in this game. Union's coming out fighting. They have nothing to lose, and that's one of the scariest parts about teams this year is ones that have nothing to lose. I like North Murray's defense, though. I think we have a young, unexperienced quarterback with Union. I think it's going to be kind of hard for them to really do anything. I like North Murray here, 22-17.
Well, I'm coaching in this game, so you know who I'm going to pick. I always bet on ourselves, but I'm going to say this about Union County. Union County is a very well-coached team. They've got a very good defense. Their offense, obviously, they do have a backup quarterback in there, but he's very effective. So we got our work cut out for us. Obviously last week we had a lot of penalties. We cannot have penalties this week, and we've got to be very physical, and I look forward to it. It's going to be a great challenge for us.
Yeah, I don't know if Coach Rainey wants to agree with me on this or not, but I think North Murray did not play up to their potential last week against Murray, and I just think they're going to play with a chip on their shoulder this week. So, you know who I'm picking.